There have been plenty of racing games over the years which let you drive flat out through the middle of some of the most famous cities in the world. You can zoom in between the barriers at Monaco on any Formula 1 game, navigate your way around Rome and Seattle in Gran Turismo 3, or dodge the police as you speed along the streets of Miami in the original Driver. But until 2012, there was one iconic city that had never featured on any video game. That's right, Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, home to more than 3 million people, and the site of the Palace of the Sun, where as seen here they like to do lots of marching. Now North Korea has a bit of a, shall we say, dodgy reputation in the Western world, but even the most secretive of nations occasionally wants a few tourists to show up, just to show how amazing they really are, as long as you only see the bits they want you to see. But how can you encourage Westerners to take their family holiday in the Democratic People's Republic, I hear you ask? Why, with a racing game of course. And here it is! Pyongyang Racer, North Korea's first attempt, apparently, at a video game. Just hearing that music has convinced me to book a plane ticket, but some people may need a bit more persuading. So strap yourselves in for some Kim Jong fun as we head out into Pyongyang for some high-speed racing action. Off we go then in our diplomatic car, and it's like we're really there as we power our way in between the 2D buildings. It's hard to believe this was first published all the way back in 2012. It's so ahead of its time. Periodically you're reminded to stop being a pervert and keep your eyes on the road. Sound safety advice in any country. You'll notice at the top of the screen that we have a fuel gauge. This gradually decreases as you zoom around and you have to drive over oil barrels to refill it. Similarly, you can also drive over postcards, which provides you with some intriguing information about all the major landmarks you see on your journey. Now for any North Koreans or regular visitors to Pyongyang who might be watching, you may be thinking, these roads look awfully familiar. And they should be. This is a genuine route through the capital. All the landmarks are roughly in the right places too, so you can use this game as a helpful map on your next trip. There's not a lot of traffic in Pyongyang, only inferior cities suffer with congestion, and besides the roads are massive here, or the cars are tiny. However, if you do crash into a stationary car which you couldn't see because it was parked behind an oil barrel, you'll get a stern telling off. Occasionally the game will feel the need to insult you, but it's just to remind you not to be arrogant. After all, you are in the presence of the supreme leader. The journey around Pyongyang works out to about 9.57 miles. Now I want to share some interesting maths with you. Let's go back to the fuel for a second. As I said, driving over oil barrels refills your fuel gauge. Now a barrel is commonly used as a measurement for 35 British gallons. That's about the same as 159 litres. On this run I collected 18 barrels, which equates to 630 gallons of fuel. If we adjust that slightly for the full tank of fuel I had at the start and the splash that was left in the tank at the end, it meant my little car got through 684 gallons of petrol. The point I want to make is, on this short drive through the city with barely any traffic to get in my way, I averaged 0.014 miles to the gallon. That's one thirsty car. Pretty soon you'll complete your Pyongyang pilgrimage where you're given your final time and you'll want to see how you compare with the rest of the world. They've got a unique system where if you want to go on the high scores list, you need to email in a screenshot of your time so the list can be manually updated. Like I said earlier, ahead of its time. This really is a fascinating game. The fact it was only released online in 2012, and at the end of 2012 at that, makes it the most modern game I've reviewed so far. And while it would be easy to criticise it for its simplistic graphics, basic gameplay and its complete lack of any actual racing with other cars, Pyongyang Racer will always have a special place in my heart. And that's because if we take a look at the top 10 championship list, it is with the utmost pride that I can say I am officially the 4th best player in the world at this game. It's a time I genuinely emailed in 6 years ago. Here's the proof. And as it doesn't look like the list has been updated since 2014, I imagine I shall now remain there for eternity. That is my biggest gaming achievement. That is my legacy.